totally wonderful, and that having people come here with Ebola stops it. That they said 2 + 2 = 50. Go ahead.
And like I said, when my husband called polio, they asked, first of all, who is he around? I gave him the information, and then they turned right around and said, well, you're going to have to call all these people. And
sure, but what about now? What about now? Yeah, what's your point about now?
I think that now is that I think, what are they going to roll out? What are they going to give? What vaccine are they?
Oh, we know Bill Gates that says he wants to reduce our population by 90%, and he says he supports death panels. We can play the clips. And who is the main funder of gun control, so no Republican dare attack him because they actually work for him, a lot of them. Again, loyal opposition. He's got a shot for you and your family. How's that sound? Don't you want to take what Bill Gates' dad, who heads up Planned Parenthood, I mean, don't you want to take a shot from someone that openly says he wants you 6 feet under? Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
No, it is not, and I'll tell you one thing. I do believe that this is a precursor for something else to come.
Oh, I agree. We'll be back. It's openly training to confiscate our weapons, openly demonizing the Founding Fathers, openly demonizing families, openly demonizing free market, local businesses, while signing us on to trillions upon trillions upon trillions of foreign debt that isn't even ours, bailing out foreign banks, sending 5,000, it was 3,000, 2,000 more troops into hot zones to do nothing but catch Ebola and bring it back. Don't even clean up people's houses and streets covered in vomit from a Ebola victim, his family not even quarantined for at least 6 days, allowed to keep going to public school. A false flag, a staged event, whether they souped up the Ebola or not. And by the way, we have that 1990 clip from Nova where they were talking about airborne Ebola spreading in a facility into a whole other area of the building and killing monkeys. And people can argue, well, it's probably roaches or mites in the ventilation. Doesn't matter. That's how it spreads out here. Ebola used to gestate or incubate over 3 or 4 days. Now it's 21, 22. So you can spread it. It's spreading much worse. It is a real pandemic now. In Africa, areas of Africa are collapsing. Other African countries have sealed their borders, not us. We're known as the schmuck zone or the chump zone, the joke zone. Come here if you have Ebola. We're the place. I mean, they'll have regular army at a high school football game to randomly search everyone to train them to be slaves and to train the military to accept it. And then the border's wide open. It's just all a complete joke. All a complete joke. Our government loads the illegals on the buses at the border, gives them vouchers and ships them wherever they want to go. We broke that a month before the New York Times had to admit it. I'm not bragging. We broke that. My point is the mainstream media is in on this, folks. Where's the mainstream media saying, why won't you quarantine? Why won't you shut the border? Why won't you shut the flights? Because in a world of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. George Orwell. I'm not even as concerned about the Ebola, even though I'm really starting to get concerned, as I am about how government acts so mentally ill. Jason, Monique, Kevin, S.A., Spiro, we're going to all of you. Trudy, Charlie, Tanya, the Indico Kid, Paul, we're going to all of you. Jason in Minnesota, go ahead. All right, going to move along. Jason, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing, Alex?
Good, brother.
I just want to say thank you very much. I've been awake for many, many years, since way back. You're awesome. Keep spreading the word. I wish I could go down there and join you. About everything you talk about is spot on. People need to wake up. This Ebola thing, you look at the Georgia Guidestones, they put the 2014 block in there, and that's all about depopulation. You got Bill Gates and George Soros who fund the biometric lab in Sierra Leone, where it outbreaks.
I know.
And these guys are so lackadaisical.
And they're coming out with a vaccine.
Speaking of vaccines, my mom refused. I was born in 1970. It was toward the end of where they had the shot. She refused. She would not let them inject me with anything. She told me for many, many years, do not trust the government. I grew up that way. I don't have any children of my own because I've been nervous and scared about the whole government, everything that's going on. You hit the nail on the head with everything. I love you for that. You got Weibos that clank. I mean...
Well, please don't thank me, brother, but I appreciate your call. Great points. I don't judge anybody who decides not to have children. I get it. But I'm doubling down. That's why I have 3 children. I'm going to commit to the future and not just decide it's all lost. But I get your point.
Stand up with the fight. I want to do what I can. And if it's part of your regime to help spread the word, I'm all for it.
All right, well, keep it up, brother. Well, it's not my regime. Thank you. I'm just one guy concerned about what I see globalists doing. And I call them globalists. This guild of criminals and control freaks that manipulate all the good people in private and public society. Most people in government don't even know what's going on. They're like the public. But it's getting so obvious now. Monique in Quebec, Canada. Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex.
Hi.
Alex, I think this is a false flag, and I'm sure of that. I tend to believe, like Robert David Steele, when he was on your show on September 18, he said that the next big false flag will be a simulated Ebola attack. But in fact...
You know what's funny? I forgot that Robert David Steele, who's a well-known CIA field commander, in actual operations, not sitting around in an office feeling powerful, he actually said, didn't he say he thought they'd do a simulated bio attack on air?
Right, and he said that they would use instead biochemical weapons that will dissipate and pretend it is Ebola. And I think even in Africa...
I know, I just forget how much devastating predictions we have here. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and even in Africa, I think it will dissipate, but they're letting them die for now to scare us. And the reason why they're doing this is because in the U.S., the economy will crash soon, and they don't want any chaos in the street. So they will take your guns, they will do everything, put you in FEMA camps and everything like that. And that's why they're doing it. Don't believe it. Of course, some people will die in the U.S., but it will be because of the biochemical weapons that will dissipate. And that's why they're not worried to send troops.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like they give all the kids these shots in August, and now the mystery illness starts killing kids everywhere, and they're all vaccinated kids that are dead or dying with this respiratory illness. It's so obvious, and I forgot that one of my big Pentagon sources said get Steele on if you really want to know what's going on. That was Colonel Schaefer, who ran the project to kill bin Laden and was blocked twice from doing it. Super high level, super connections. Just briefed Congress secretly the day he was on 3-4 weeks ago. He says get Steele on. Steele comes on like 3 days later. We need to get him back on this week, ASAP. And says, I believe they're going to have an airborne simulated Ebola release that'll really be a simulant that'll kill or sicken people to create hysteria. And I think he was basically... See, a lot of times those guys won't tell you what they know because obviously then that'll let people know where the source came from, their source. They'll just say, oh, I think this is going to happen. And that is... Yeah, what day was he on again, ma'am?
He was there on September 18, and I want to tell you something else. You know what? It's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you because people will be afraid to buy your healthy products because they'll say, oh, my God, it's coming from Texas, and Texas is alleged Ebola, and they'll be afraid, but the packing, the shipping, the...
Oh, that's another thing. The fact that they've chosen Texas, and clearly they've allowed this to happen, so bare minimum they're behind it, just from there. Open borders, shutting down our power plants, mainly Texas plants, having Ebola set up here, not sending aid during wildfires. It's because the state is not blue. And it's not a Republican-Democrat issue with me, but it is with the establishment. Really great points, ma'am. Thank you so much. Spiro, you're up next. I'm Alex Jones.
In the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball,
Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operation.
We let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy prison.